All right. And here we're going to do hot dog or conveyor belt. So this will be a little work for your core and also the inner thighs. So we'll start holding the rollers kind of between the knees and the feet. And then you roll back down, your arms will go forward, your hands will go along the legs. We begin with the pelvic tuck to curl the tail up, and then imprint the spine down, vertebra by vertebra. Try to slow down the movement as you go down, and you can rest your head back initially. And now squeeze the legs around the roller so that like the arch of the foot and the knees are both pressing in. Press your arms down and forward and pick up the roller. Bring the legs to tabletop. If that seems like it's a lot for your low back, you can pull the knees a little closer in over your rib cage. But try to find a place where while you're holding the roller and squeezing it, you feel not only the work in the inner thighs, but also some work in the abdominal wall. So the abs are working to prevent the pelvis from tipping into more of an arch back, right? Now, you can hold onto the roller if you want a little assistance. You can also hold onto the back of your thighs, or your hands can be down at your side if you feel like you don't need either of those. But maybe start with a little extra support. You're just going to slide the roller forward, trying to keep it parallel to the ground until you feel the knitting together of the transverse abdominis, the low abs here. And then exhale, slowly pull it back in, hold the roller parallel to the floor. And again, with the head down, we don't get as big of a range of motion as we would in an upper arm curl, because in that, the waistline may be pushing into the ground. Here, the waist is floating off the floor, both as you go forward and then come back, but you're not changing the height of the arch. Right? We want to keep the curves of the spine the same as you push the legs away, increasing the load into the abdominals to prevent the pelvis from tipping. And then we're going to bring this on back. You also might want to take your hands on your hip bone crest and just be sure that the pelvic bones aren't tilting or moving here. We move the leg, we squeeze the roller and then pull it back in. Just one or two more. Everyone feeling this is okay for them? Okay. And then exhale, bring it back. Now hug the knees in closer to your chest. Just give yourself a little extra stretch in the low back in case you were a little overly enthusiastic in your range of motion earlier. And now here, let's take the legs out, lift your head, neck, and shoulders, roll the shoulders forward and in, letting your sternum sink down towards your spine. Hold onto the back of your legs and try to pull your head up higher as you look down your nose into your abs. Now, you're going to slide the roller forward, maybe hold the roller, maybe hold the thighs, maybe go hands free, and then you can pull it back in. So you might be able to go a little further now that the waist is imprinted into your mat. But don't worry about the range of motion. Focus on what the sensation is in your abs. You would also have the option, probably I would recommend it, take your hands behind your skull, pull the head up and pull the elbows down in towards the navel. And we reach this away slowly. Squeeze, exhale, and pull it back. We're just going to do one more. You all look great. I hope you're feeling it in all the right places. And exhale, pull it back. Remember, you can always drop out of the exercise. You can always lessen your range of motion. And here we're going to take the roller over to the side. Lay down on your back now. Feels good to get the head down and stretch both legs forward. The legs about 4 inches apart. And lift the arms up to the ceiling. Palms face forward. Now shrug the shoulders up. Try to touch the ceiling of the sky with your fingertips and then widen the collarbones and feel the blades settle down. We're going to keep them there as we take the arms back by your ears to stretch the whole front line of your body. Your arms go back without additional arching of the ribs. Lift the arms up, weight into the shoulder blades, start to nod your head forward, chin to chest. Coming up at the back of the skull, exhale and pull yourself forward, just slowly one vertebra at a time. Suction the waist back and dive over your legs. If you want a little extra help on this, you can grab your bare band to take it around the balls of the feet. Just over one. And pick up with the band to bed. At the top, sit up right on top of your sit bones. Right? And as you sit vertically here, go up into the sky like a searchlight. You can take one hand behind your waist and feel the indentation in your spine. If it's not, it's usually a sign that your hamstrings are tight and they would pull the sit bones forward so you round the back. We don't want that. We want to start elevated up, perched right on the sit bones like you're on two champagne corks. So now from here, look out for your heels a little bit, the knees can be bent. If you need that, to sit vertically. Look down, curl the tail up. Now we are going to round the spine deliberately here. Push out through your feet across the room. And see if you can lay down one vertebra at a time. So your tail's going up the wall in front of you until you get down to the base of your rib cage. So you keep curling the tail up, floating back softly, slowly. When you get to the tip of the blades, you can relax the tail down and lay it all the way down, head down at the end. And then we float the head up, look down your nose towards your abs. Pull the elbows wide and the hands towards your hip bones. Coming up. Big exhale to lift. You draw an arc in the air like a wave coming out of the ocean. Bring your forehead down by your knees and curl the tail towards your gaze again. And feel that stretch in your back. And now we zip the back up the wall from the bottom to the top. And as you bring your gaze across the floor, bring it up to the horizon and look as far out as you can. Soften your gaze. Now we're looking down again. So you tip the head, you curl the tail towards your gaze. You're sitting now behind your sits bones. Feel it, you're on your glutes. Push long with your legs and articulate down. One vertebra at a time. Take your time. Really curve your back in. You want to feel every inch of your back, right and left side equally landing. Come all the way down. Release it back. And then to come up again, float the head up. Look down your nose. Pull the shoulders a little bit forward. So moving the blades sideways on your back will allow you to curve more through your spine. And then we come up and we still have the elbows wide and forward. That moves the scapula away from your spine so the ribs can sink back and you get a beautiful C-curve shape here, like a horseshoe on its side. Let's stack the spine from bottom to top from all the way. Beautifully done. Good work. All right, we can take this off. And we're going into our hundreds position here. So we're going back into the upright curl where you're balanced here on like the base of the rib cage. We'll pull the legs in and start with them bent as we pump the arms. So either legs straight or knees bent. You can extend the arms, have them on the mat, have them to your leg. But we're rolling back again, the tail curling up. Feel that pelvic top as you go behind your sits bones onto the glutes, onto your sacrum, down into the hip, down to the waist, down to the base of the ribs. Pause there and pull the knees in. Good. Start pumping the arms, inhaling and exhaling. Now with this, you can always take one hand and support the head, but then switch the arms periodically. You could also take a ball underneath your shoulders to give you a little bit more lift here into that upper abdominal curl. If you feel like this is a little too easy, right, you have two options. You can slide the knees a little bit forward to feel the increased load into the abdominal wall, just like we did with that conveyor belt hot dog exercise earlier, or you can extend the legs up to the ceiling and then reach the feet a little bit away. But just be sure you're imprinting your waistline down into the mat. We don't want the waist to lift because then you're going to be challenging your low back to a place where it doesn't want to go. So press the legs in, inner edges of your feet, inner edges of your knees, anything else that touches, squeeze it in. If not, think of the two legs, right and left, reaching into each other like magnets. Just do one more breath, pumping 4 to 5 times in the inhale, 4 to 5 times in the exhale. And then let's fold the knees in and lay back down. Stretch the arms back, stretch the legs forward, and just take your right hand on your left wrist. So do a little bit of side bend to the right and pull that arm long to get a little opening into your side seam here on the left side. And then slide yourself back to center. Extend the arms back, the arms the width of your chest, and then take your left hand to your right wrist. Pull it a little bit and then bring your head over to go into a side bend here from your hip bone crest through the rib cage and up and through the neck. Feel that tug, that pull into the side ribs. And then come back to center. And we just separate the arms. We're rolling up again. Lift the arms, head, neck, shoulders, big exhale. Pull up, curve the waist back, slide forward. Do what you need to do. You can hold onto your legs and walk your hands up the legs as you're building strength into this movement. And then we're going to do a little different thing here today. I want to do some standing balance work with the magic circle. So did everyone get one? They're just on the floor by the door there. I was glad to see you all walk in, but I know it's hard sometimes when you just come in and are rushing to get into the mat. I'm the same way. So now what's going to be helpful is I want everyone to come up and stand first, and then we're just going to see what it feels like to stand on one foot. You may want to take your roller. If you're not sure about your balance, you might want to take it to one side. So you could always take your hand down onto it if you wanted to, or you could stand by the podium or by one of the walls if you prefer to. So here, just to practice, take your hands to your hips, pick up your right heel, they'll be opposite from you probably, and look straight ahead, find a focal point as far away as you can. Now see, can you keep that right hip down as you pull the knee up? Yeah, look at you guys, very good. So you want to keep weight in the right side of your body so you're not tipping to the left. Yeah? Because a lot of people, when they pick up the leg, what they do is they lean to the left and then they pick up the right leg. And then they're already falling off their balance, right? So we want to help ourselves by thinking of the pelvic halves balanced here. It's a little pressure down, and particularly pressure into the right hand if you're going to lift the right heel. Let's do that first. So pick up the knee, pick up the heel, and really put weight into the ball of the right foot. So you feel the weight transfer from your head to your shoulder all the way down through your sits bone and into that foot. And then keep the press down with the right hip. Think of the rib cage balanced over the pelvic half, and then pick the right leg up. This way we keep some weight into the inside line of your left leg. You guys look great. And then let's lower slowly, toe, ball, heel. Yes. And then we're doing the other side. So just shake out your legs and hips for a moment. After being so still, let's have a little movement. And now let's pick up your left heel, left hand pushes into the left hip bone, push it down. Pick up the knee, pick up the heel. Try to stay stable here. So really like the left side of your body is cantilevered off the right. And we're going to pick up the foot. Let that work into the inside edge. Yeah, if you feel like you're tipping over the standing leg, put a little more weight into that left side. Sometimes I imagine I have like a 5-pound weight here at my hip and a 3-pound weight into my rib cage there. And then this big enormous earring on the ear. Okay, and then we lower the toes down, ball the foot heel. And you'll find it's like easier typically on one side versus the other. Another thing you can do to help yourself, just sit for a second. You can tap the soles of your feet to wake up the proprioceptors. So really it's just like smack them through. I learned how to do yoga classes, for example, when I would go and early instead of just warming up my flexibility, I would tap my feet because I knew there'd be balances coming. And then just see, stand up now, and let's see the difference in the foot you tap versus the other one. So as you stand with equal weight, do you feel how that side is like more rounded, more like settled into the floor? And then pick up that other foot. Remember, hip stays down, gaze ahead, focal point is soft. And then lower the foot down, and just for comparison, try the other one. And see how it's a little more wobbly, a little more wiggly. The talus isn't really centered as much as the other one, and I was expecting it to be because this one behaved so well. All right, so we're going down to tap the foot we did tap previously. One of my anatomy teachers told me that there are 7,000 proprioceptors in each foot, and that typically they are dead asleep almost all the time because we walk on all these beautiful flat surfaces, and we're not getting a lot of feedback into the foot itself by walking on like an uneven terrain. And then also we make it worse by locking your feet into shoes, either like sneakers with big cushions, which feel great on our feet, but prevent us from feeling the ground, or pretty little shoes with nice flat surfaces, and those also protect us from the ground, but also limit our awareness of it. So now we're gonna come up and do some more balance work. So here we're gonna be using the magic circle. Oh, first, we probably need to just test out that left foot again, right? Since we just tapped it. Let's see if it's behaving better. So yes, excellent job, right? Feel as more awake, more aware. You're gonna be more grounded. You're gonna know where your foot is in relationship to the rest of your body and in relationship to the ground. So now we're gonna take this circle down and put it on the edge. Now here's where you might, if you're not sure about your balance, you might want to stand near the wall, or you could also take your hand to the roller. And then you're gonna pick up your foot and lightly press the other foot into it. Just the place where you hold it steady, like you're not really gonna push it down. So if I push it down, it's gonna skid out from under me. Or even if it doesn't get there, it's gonna be more wobbly. So we're here, pick the foot up, and you want the lightest possible touch on it. Right? So coming up, focal point again, spread the toes on the standing foot, and we lightly push down just a fraction, go up through your central axis, and then bring that up. Now arms out to the side, right, and imagine holding your roller between your hands, squeeze it in. So now you're like a tightrope walker, right? You've got that long pole, should help your balance, push, and lift. Press here, lift up, and one more. Perfect. Lower it down. Put it between your hips to do that. Take out your brain. All good. Other side. Now it also could be helpful to have the standing leg in a little turnout, because that'll give you just a slightly wider base of support. And then we hold this vertically, press it under the balls of the feet and the toes. Quiet your body, think of spreading the right foot, and there's extra weight in the left foot. Arms can go out. And it'll like press with the left foot. Look your hips high on the left and then tilting you to the right, so that makes it. There you go. And just less weight into the circle. So you have to literally like almost pick the knee up to have the right amount of pressure into the foot. That's better. Try to breathe occasionally. We all like to hold our breath when we try something new or difficult. I feel like it's because we want to spend time. You guys, fantastic job. Release it. And wag your tail side to side, shake it out. Next, we're going to do some work here for the inner thighs and also balance work too. So we're going to take the circle above our ankles and push the legs in enough that you feel like you're sort of holding it there with the pressure from your inner legs, right? And at this point, we're going to shift our weight to the right leg, go up onto the left toes, and find your balance again. Then you pick up the left foot off the ground. And now we're going to pull, circle, squeeze it with that left leg, and release it slightly. So again, head up, eyes across the room, squeeze, release. Maybe think of smiling, so relax the whole body. Yeah, that's better. Like really, what's the worst that can happen? You drop the circle. Yeah. I've done that a million times. I might even do it now, so. No animals were harmed in this exercise. So right here, or people either. So now we put the weight on the left foot. The right toe is supporting you here. just to help you find your balance, right? So you're gonna think, okay, this is my standing leg, wake it up, feel the ground, and then you pick up the left toes. And then we're gonna squeeze from the upper inner thigh, and then pay that out, release it just a little. So the movement's pretty small, but it should feel like an intense workout through your upper inner thighs. Also lengthen up through your halo, just get the connective tissue to tighten around the whole body to help hold you together like you're in a casing. Press. Exhale, open slowly, feel that resistance to the opening. It's as if the circle wants to expand, which it does, right? Once you compress it, it wants to expand, but you try to resist the expansion by moving the leg very slowly. Again, and release, we're just doing one more. If you find your toes like crunching into the ground, try to spread them open like the roots growing across the floor. And then squeeze, come back where we started. Yes, round of applause for the class, please. All right, and there's more. So we're going into, I guess, turn out, right? So the back leg, my right leg is behind, and it's an external rotation. The left leg is forward, it's pointing straight forward. And then you can take the arms out. Put weight into your back foot. I know it's a little hard sometimes in the summer because like we're all like loosened up on the legs and the circles sometimes just slide along the skin, right? So once you're on the back leg, you lift the front foot. Again, find your focal point, and we're going to push in from the back of the leg, from the glute and the hamstring, and then release it forward. And we squeeze and release. Squeeze, release. And don't be afraid to like touch down onto your roller if you need to. Sometimes we just need to like regroup, and a slight connection there reorganizes the body. One of the things about tactile cueing is you draw attention someplace, it can also reorganize your whole structure. And now squeeze, and we're going to shift forward onto your front foot. So the back heel lifts. You're still holding the squeeze. This will give you a little bit of a hip opening into that right hip. Gradually slide the toes back to lift the foot off the ground there. And now pull that back leg towards the front and away. Picture your leg like it's a steel rod that goes to the center of the earth and then up into, so let's say your left shoulder. That's on its standing leg. Push the back foot forward, lengthen it slowly out and away, but keep tension into the circle the whole time. Just do one more. And then we're going to squeeze and come back. Okay, so remember you had your right foot back, your left foot forward. Let that go. And now let's switch the legs, right? So the left foot will be behind and turn out. The right foot will be forward in parallel. And then we take the circle above the ankle, and it's below the swell of the calf, right? So there's like a little bit of a narrowing here above the ankle, and that's where you want to place your circle. Okay. Good. And then once you feel it, lift your back heel, squeeze the circle. And when you're ready, you pick up the front foot. And you're going to pull the leg in towards the other ankle and heel. The front leg is moving. Push the circle into more of an oval and then release it back into a circle. Inhale, press. Exhale, the belly deepens. The leg slides away just a little bit. Feel how you're working your standing leg like laterally. And the moving leg, your action leg, glute hamstring. Let's do one more. Squeeze it slightly, step forward onto your front foot. You feel like you need to adjust it. Now's a good time. And then we shift the weight forward. The heel is lifted in the back, slowly lift the toes. You might feel the stretch across the front of the hip. It's also great for hip extension. And then we're going to squeeze the circle from behind and then bring it back to where it started. Press and release. Imagine your standing leg, the foot has like little octopus tentacles under it, little suckers that just suction you into the ground. How deep is your focus right now? Everything else falls to the side. One more squeeze. And then step back. And then open, let it fall. Nice, congratulations. Good work. So those are really advanced balance exercises, right? So I know I've taught like groups of Pilates instructors, and the first time they try it, it's a disaster. So you all did really well. So don't worry about a few little wobbles. Balance is about being perfect and holding everything exactly straight and aligned. It's more about falling off your center and coming back to it repeatedly. Because that's the skill we want to teach, not standing like a statue. Right? So anyway, so we're good with this for right now. And let's see. So we should do the ab series, right? I told you we're here for Pilates. So of course, all of it is actually. But we're going to roll back into our upper arm curls. And then we're pulling one knee in at a time, challenging yourself to sit in that lifted upper arm position while we move the legs asymmetrically on this first one. So you can start with the heels down and toes slightly up. Be sure you're balanced equal weight on your two sits bones. Bring the arms forward and we roll back into a curved back. Keep lifting the tail to get down to the hips, to the waist, to the base of the ribs, and then pull your right leg in, tabletop leg, right hand to the ankle, left hand below the knee on that shin. And then you can extend the other leg up and out. Push up with your shin into your hands and push down with your hands into your shin and pull the elbows wide to kind of lift and find a deeper bend right under the chest wall. Feel that connection. That's what you want every time you switch the arms. So we're going to inhale and switch, pull the left leg in, outside hand to the ankle, push up with the shin and down with the arms, come higher with the head and switch again. Keep looking down through your legs at the floor on the far side of your mat. And then we switch and switch again. If you find that it's too much load for your body, you can take the extended leg up towards the ceiling. Otherwise, keep it at whatever height works for you to keep your waist pressed down into the mat. So the leg shoots out of the socket, soft foot, soft toes. You don't want to overpoint because you don't want to cramp your feet, but you do want to feel the energy pouring out of your leg, out through the foot, as if each leg was a fire hose, water flowing out at pretty high volume to the far side of the room. We're going to end with the left leg in, pull the right leg in, and then let's rock forward and up. Up to sitting. And then open your knees, hang your head down, just stretch out your neck. At this point, you can nod your head yes. It hangs as low as it can. And then look to the right, look to the left, nod your head no. And allow the weight of your head to traction up your neck and release it. All right, we stack the spine bottom to top and bring the gaze up to the horizon. We're going back for single leg stretch. In this one, both legs pull in and we still have that connection of the hands to the shins to engage into the arms, into the upper abdominals. So again, we can start the arms forward, arms higher, we require more core connection, more work as you articulate down. It's a little bit more load higher up, which makes your core work harder. And you come to your upper arm curl, pull both of these in. Now, you squeeze the legs together, take your hands to the shins. Try to pull the elbows wide and lift a little higher with your head. And now feel that work from your hands into your arms, into your abs, right? You all feel that? Good. And now we extend arms and legs up to the sky. Circle the arms wide and embrace the legs in. So you reach up and away from the ground. It's like you're hanging from a hammock suspended from the sky. Circle the arms, and as you circle the arms, the knees pull in, and you try to pull your chest up to meet the legs. And again, reach it up, circle and embrace. Now, as you get stronger, as you progress, the arms and legs move a little further away from center, but you're still pressing your waistline down. Hug the legs in with your arms. You can pull it in tight, and we'll do one more. Stretch this open, and exhale and embrace it in. And again, look down, rock forward, come up to sitting. Yes, beautiful. Now we did a scissors before when our hips were up on the roller. We're going to do one now in your upper curl. So again, and here again, you can dive over, shake your head. Just release the neck muscles that they were tightened up previously. Because they do, right? We're working the neck. It's important to do that. If you feel like you're overworking it, we just need to give it a little break. And often we just need to come up a little deeper into the upper curl and get more work here and less work into the throat. So we'll continue talking about that as we're practicing. So we'll roll back now. The arms reach forward. Pull your right knee in as you're going back. Lift the leg up to the ceiling and reach up as high as you can towards your ankle. Put the other foot off the ground, straight leg. Now see if you can pull up a little bit higher so you're on the lower part of the rib cage. Pull that leg in, feel that stretch. The knee could be bent if you need to. I don't want you overstraining behind the knee or the sits bones, but you can straighten it if that works for you. Now you're going to hold this position with the upper body. As you release the leg, that one goes down, the other one comes up, and then re-engage with the arms to recommit to that upper curl. Your gaze is still looking down your nose into your navel, into your abs. And switch. Right. And we're trying not to like physically balance the body up and down. Just see if you can use your core to hold your chest up and you're looking down. One of the beginner mistakes is to look up at your foot as you lift it, because that will tip the head back and you'll feel more strain in the neck. So keep your gaze down, please. You'll thank yourself now and later. And then we switch. See if you can pull the leg in to get a really decent stretch into this mid part of your hamstring in the back of your leg. And we'll switch one more set. And let's work for the left. Bring your hands behind your head, pull the head up, tip the chin down, and just get a stretch that way. You can fold the knees in and lower the feet. So keep pulling the neck long in the back. See as you pull the elbows down and you deepen your curve here at the base of your ribs. And then you can lay it down and stretch the legs forward again. Yawn your body open to the sky, reach the arms behind you, fingers touch the ground. And then we're lifting the arms. The ribs might settle down. Pick up your head, neck, chest. Exhale, pull up, curve over, and now reach for your toes if you can, for your shins or your knees or your thighs if you can't. Wherever you can reach is good. But curl the tail forward and up and pull your waist back. Feel that stretch into your back. We're also giving the neck a bit of a break here. And then we're coming all the way upright. There's two more in the series. We're going to do them. So here again, we're rolling back. So feel how your spine articulates down. So Pilates, a lot of the time, we're just trying to make the spine more flexible and the muscles around it stronger so that we have control of our bodies into this torso, right? And then pull both legs in. Now support your head with your hands, pull the head up, and then look down. Your chin's tucked in towards your throat, the elbows are pulling down in towards the navel. And we're going to lift the legs up to the ceiling. These are bent if you need to have them vertical. Now at this point, we're going to slowly take the legs out just an inch or two and feel the increasing load into the low abdominal wall, right? You might start to feel that the sacrum shifts. As you go down, the tail wants to reach further into the ground and the waistline wants to lift. Try to prevent that by pulling the pubic bone up and using the low rectus abdominal muscle to curve the waistline into the floor. And then you bring it up, right? So we're doing these micro movements basically to really feel what's going on in the lower abdominals and in the spinal position on the mat. And see how that builds strength gradually into that lower part of your belly, right? So lift. And maybe even think of coming up higher as the legs go forward and down. And then as the legs come up, try to lift the head and chest towards the legs. So you're continually reworking these upper abs and not just the low abs. So push the legs away. Everyone feel that? The legs go away and your abdominal wall really tightens up. And then let's pull it in and come upright. So a lot of times people go to exercise classes and they're told to take the legs vertically in the air and just lower the heels all the way down and then up again. That is terrifying to anyone who's studying anatomy because you know that the legs are connected to every vertebra and every intervertebral disc through your psoas muscles, which are like the size of a fist and run from T10, T12, one on each side of the spine, all the way down along the spine here, so they're centered, right? And then they dive into the back of the pelvic girdle, come underneath the organs, come over the pubic bone rami, and then they attach into the top upper inner thigh bone. And so what happens then, if you're not strong enough in your core and you lower legs all the way down, you're literally pulling the spine out of position. And that is not a recipe for a successful, happy life. So we practice these leg lower lifts with great attention, great focus, and awareness that if you do it incorrectly, too fast, too quick, where you're not paying attention, or too big of a movement, you can totally hurt yourself. If you do it correctly, you're going to strengthen yourself and have a stronger core, and also your back will be more protected from other movements because you've strengthened all the muscles here around that center. So these exercises, you have to respect them and pay attention to your body the whole time because you can do them correctly at the right range of motion for you at that moment and you'll get great benefits. If you're careless about it and just like someone says, lower your feet to the ground and up again, you can totally hurt your back. You can like herniate a disc easily. And then you're dealing with recovery time. So just a word to the wise because we take that pretty seriously. And I've worked with people, like particularly I've worked with some young athletes. Like if you go out in the field for lacrosse practice or whatever and have to lower lift their legs 100 times from the ground like at 6 in the morning. And I was like, oh, and your coach wonders why you're benched because you've hurt your back over and over again in practice. So we don't want that. We want to strengthen our bodies. We don't want to beat you up. So thank you for all paying attention and doing just what I'm asking you to. All right, so we have one more to go. This one, it's nice to use a ball. I didn't bring one, but I'm gonna go get one. Does anyone else need one? We're gonna do the twist from side to side. Okay. Always prepare. Good job. I'm gonna sit facing you for this one. Okay, so we're gonna be rolling back into your upper arm curl, surprise, surprise, and show it to you from the side first. So you're gonna take the ball between the heels of your hand, not the fingertips, but this line, the heel, right? And squeeze it in from your armpits. So just try that, extend it out. And then you can push it like this really easily. You can extend it out, but then press it from the armpit and you feel like you're really working into this inner arm muscle and into the side rib cage, right? So from here, once we go down to the upper curl, this is a version of what's called bicycle in the gym. We put one leg in and we pull the ball forward, close to the head, look at the ball. And as you switch the leg, the ball moves over the legs and you twist to the other side. What I love about this is that the reach forward through the arm keeps you in a deeper upper ab curl than maybe you could do without the ball reaching forward. So load away from center, but it's also the movement that spins you around your axis. One leg comes in as the other one goes out, and you're pulling the ball to the side of the leg that's bent into your body. Keep your gaze on the ball, except when it lifts over your knees, look down. And then try to push the ball as far as you can to the end of your mat. Yes, and a yoga block works well too. So I didn't get the ball for you. And then over here. And one more set. Shoot the legs straight out of the head because you don't want the legs to be veering wildly off into space. We're working for alignment through the body. And then go ahead and rest. Take the ball under your neck or the yoga block And just slowly turn your head side to side. Getting a little massage into the neck, the shoulders fall, the feet are relaxed and resting. And we're going to end with, I think, rolling like a ball. So we haven't done any rolling exercises yet today. So pull the legs in, hands to your legs, rock forward and up. Okay, so you're sitting near the front third of your mat. You can take your hands, if you're new to this, hands to the back of your thighs is easiest. Hands to your shins is a little more advanced. And the knees are open, the edges of your feet together. So first sit upright on your sits bones and see what it's like to sit in good posture, perched on the sits bones. This is where we should be sitting, like at the dining room table, right? Almost no one does. But it's best for your spine. You do. So there we go. So now look down at your abs, curl the tail up. The elbows go wide so you move the blades apart, and you really pull the ribs back between the shoulder blades, because our goal is to make the spine as much like a ball and curved as possible. So you want to look down and keep your gaze fixed on the navel. As you rock back behind your sits bones, you can pick up your feet, edges of the feet squeeze in. Now with the elbows wide, you look down, you curl the tail up to shift your balance, and you roll to the blades only, but in the air. Exhale to come forward and rock forward where you started. So you lift the tail, that shifts your weight, and then you have to roll. Now, of course, we don't want to smack our heads on the ground. So you want to think about how much effort you're using to go back, and then how much effort you use to come forward, because we also don't want to land on our feet. I mean, it doesn't hurt you to do it, but that's the point of the exercise is control, and part of the exercise is awareness of how much force is needed to do any particular movement. Right? So we roll back now, the tail rises, curve back onto the shoulders, back and forward onto your glutes. So you're behind the sits bones and not quite on the sacrum yet. A couple more. We inhale, and as soon as the blades touch, you exhale. So you're already deciding to come forward into the movement forward. And one more time. Roll back here. Hips in the air. Exhale forward, float the feet off. Okay. And I think that ends our class for today. Guys, thank you so much for coming. If I can help you with anything, let me know. And enjoy the holiday weekend. Everyone have a really good time. And I'll hope to see you Tuesday, Wednesday next week.